Sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are we cold? Are we cold? If you can hear me, if I say hello, just respond with a hello, hello. Okay, so you can hear me. All right, so you're welcome to today's panel session. I'm Chioma Onyekelu. I am a blockchain forensics specialist, a certified cryptocurrency investigator at A&D Forensics. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. And in today's panel, we're going to be learning a whole lot. I'm actually a teacher by profession before I ventured into blockchain. Maybe we'll talk about that later, just to let you know that anybody can go into blockchain. Okay, I always say that we didn't learn that in our junior secondary, neither did we learn it when we were still in kindergarten. All right, so we all grew up and then we started hearing about blockchain technology, and like most of us, we started to take it a bit further to know what it is. So you're not late to the game, and feel free to ask questions. In fact, this is the it was not in that option. So I'll go with the first person here. Please introduce yourself, and then I don't actually know your name. Sorry about that, but I'll let your name now.
All right, can you guys hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josiah Yahaya. I'm a software engineer, and my focus has always been all this while on blockchain, AI, and fintech. So over time, or over some years, I've also, moved from being a usual software engineer to managing an engineering project. So, who remembers Patricia here? Who remembers Patricia? Patricia Exchange, big brother. Abi? All right, so some time ago, I was their blockchain engineering manager. Currently, I lead the engineering team at Furex. Furex is also another exchange. So I'm actually heading the engineering team there. I think that's the only thing for now, though I study microbiology. We'll talk more later.
Yeah, good afternoon, all. My name is Kelvin Tersoo Jiraji. I am more or less an engineer by training, but I consider myself a builder. I have been in the blockchain space the past four years now, largely doing advocacy and raising blockchain advocates and engineers across the continent, across Africa, where I served as the managing director for Sub-Saharan Africa, overseeing over 54 countries. Beyond that, my focus is agri-tech. I'm currently leveraging blockchain to connect smallholder farmers to marketing opportunities through a project called TEMBEKASUA. Maybe as time goes on, we'll share more. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelvin and Josiah. I'm sure you must have learned a little about them. So we are going to go into the business of the day. For now, we already have recognized one of the challenges of democratic governance, which is lack of trust in the electoral process, lack of transparency, corruption. Am I correct? Okay, so want to know if it's possible. Me, I don't know, Shao. I'm just asking, right? I'm just a learner today. I'm just asking if it is possible that blockchain technology can solve this problem. And I think I'll be going over to Josiah. Josiah, are you ready for me? So let me know how can blockchain technology enhance transparency and accountability in African governments. For instance, we already know that blockchain technology can help in voting systems and so tell us how. We want to go into practicals now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for that question. I think before she started, she asked a question about the last election, right? And someone added an option to the answers, right? Which is very, very bad. So the first answer is, I mean, the straightforward answer is, of course, blockchain has a solution for our electoral process, not just in Nigeria, but for some other African countries as well. The reason why I'm saying that is that, I mean, our last person who had a lecture on cybersecurity defined blockchain and gave us certain characteristics, right, of a blockchain. And one of those characteristics is immutability. The inability of someone to be able to mutate or update or change what has been stored, right? Some around solving the problem on electoral processes. So where voting are done electronically, blockchain as a technology is used. This is because it improves transparency. It helps in mitigating something we call maybe double voting or duplicate voting and all of that. Because one, blockchain prevents any form of mutability, where one probably voted here, you can then go to another place and vote again. So blockchain prevents that, because as soon as you voted, you won't be able to vote again because your data has been captured. And anytime you're coming again, it will reject that, because the smart contract that has been written to be able to allow you to vote has a condition or some checks that ensures nobody votes more than once, right? So, of course, blockchain is good for that. And everything around blockchain is powered by smart contracts, right? Smart contracts are essentially just different conditioning, self-execute. They execute by themselves. They're autonomous, right? So all you do is to instruct the right setting instructions, and those instructions keeps executing, by themselves. And that's essentially what smart contract is. And blockchain enables smart contracts to be able to, execute themselves. And of course, I've worked on something like that. Not really on a big scale, but for someone who is in a school, right? The person was doing a project around electronic voting, and I had to write like a smart contract for the person, to be able to allow the essence of that smart contract is to be able to allow students within an association within the school to be able to vote. And essentially, that smart contract was able to do exactly what it was meant to do. So one, there was no duplicate voting. Second, the election was transparent. As you are voting, you are seeing the results. You are seeing who is winning, who is losing, right, and all of that. So everything was transparent. Everything was smooth, because you are not able to you are not able to modify anything. You are not able to change the results, just what we do in Nigeria some other time. I think that would be the answer for that.
Yes, but it's like you shot yourself in the leg somehow. Wait first. You said in some countries, and I said practical. So me now, I'm asking which country, where is the evidence, right? So give us the name of the country, and if there's an application on ground, what's the name of the application? Am I asking your questions? We want to see. If it's not available, tell us.
So I think I'll give a very good example of a country who are into the use of blockchain intensively is Estonia.
Estonia,
right?
Okay.
Right. So Estonia, they use blockchain a lot for almost everything. Everything that has to do with governance, from voting to land issuing to identity and all of that. So of course, Estonia is one country that is using blockchain a lot. Ghana is also looking at using blockchain, but not really as around
voting.
voting.
Okay.
I think Kenya is doing well in electronic voting, but I'm not quite sure if it is blockchain they are using, in their voting system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right. So to our next panelist, we've looked at blockchain now. So let's come to AI. Hope it's not too tough for you. This one you're shifting over to. Okay. Can AI be used to combat electoral fraud and voter manipulation? If so, how? He has told us about blockchain. Now let's look at AI.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And what happens during election, as we can see in previous election, you see what we call to a large extent, politicians use social media a lot to either manipulate public interest or sway certain propagandas that could enable them get voted. So what AI does is AI tools are used in checking or analyzing social media, and of course fact checking. There are some fact checking AI tools that checks facts if a certain event happens or occur in certain situations and all that, to really give electoral umpires or police, as the case may be, to investigate certain allegations or to make elections very, very credible. Another aspect of it is around largely beyond social media. We look at manipulation of results. AI algorithm monitor electoral patterns. For instance, if there is a particular pattern in a particular voting area, like maybe Gwagwalada, for instance, whereby a certain politician is winning in a particular area, but all of a sudden, when the when the voting comes in, just few polling units overtakes an existing pattern. What AI does is it interrogates the AI algorithm interrogates those patterns, and it's able to dictate if elections are flawed or credible. And of course, if you look at your biometrics, your biometric machine, it has an AI, it's AI enabled. The biometric machines are meant to read your voter's card. And beyond that, what is very, very critical is the voter, the identity, the decentralized identity, the voter identity, which is, if done correctly, AI detects your voter identity cards if you are meant to vote in that particular area to prevent multiple voting scenarios. So your biometric machines are AI enables to detect, leveraging the chips in your voter's card to see if you are meant to vote in that polling unit to prevent multiple voting across voting units. So those are some of the applications of AI in enhancing election trust and, of course, credibility.
Thank you so much. You mentioned something that struck me, decentralized identity. And then I'm imagining, is it achievable? Like, I know, yes, it is, but you can imagine most people still have double identity. Most of our centralized platforms, especially Nigeria, are still being breached. Like, people's data are still being breached and all that. People can still use their identity and go scot-free, because I'm also a fraud investigator. So I'm just wondering if maybe that could be one of the challenges that will be addressed in the next question, maybe. And I believe some people might think that blockchain is all perfect. Please, if you believe blockchain is all perfect, let me see you wave your hands. Like, there are no errors, no disadvantages. Are we correct? Am I communicating? No errors, no disadvantages, right? Eh? Ah, okay. So it means we have people that are still thinking very well. Kudos. All right. So I'd like to take the next question to our first panelist. What are the biggest challenges to implementing AI and blockchain solutions in African democracy? So, like people that have tried to implement it, did they say they had any challenges? Are you trying to implement one? Are you coming around some challenges? Let's hear you. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, thanks for that question. Of course, there are challenges. Africa generally will have a lot of challenges, right? We have a lot. Anything around technology, so blockchain and AI, they are not exempted from some other challenges we're having with existing technologies, right? And looking at this as even a new, like most of them are new to the African ecosystem. First of all, we have the challenge around infrastructure, right? We don't have the adequate infrastructure, for emerging technology like this one, blockchain and AI. Take for example, light, right? We don't have good power, power system. So it's one big challenge for us to 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 be able to say we are doing things around blockchain and AI. The reason why we're seeing that as a big challenge is because all of them requires power. They require power. If you are doing anything with AI, if you've ever written a model, an AI model, you will know how long it will take you to be able to train that model and how much compute power you need for that model to be able to be properly trained with the right data, right? So that is a very big challenge. Same thing with blockchain. Some blockchain has some consensus algorithm that requires power as well, right? For example, Bitcoin is proof of work. So what I mean is it requires a lot of power. If, for example, you want to set up a node, for example, or you want to set up a blockchain that is using the proof of work consensus algorithm, you definitely need power, to be able to have a lot of nodes. Essentially, nodes are just like different computers verifying the transaction or whatever thing that is happening on that blockchain. So you need power. But of course, there are other ones which uses proof of stake, which is power. I mean, it doesn't consume a lot of power. So the other challenge is illiteracy, right? Inadequate education. I mean, we don't have enough education, right, about all of these things. So they are new to us, and we need to learn, So we still have a very big gap around the knowledge on blockchain and AI. And also, I think one big thing is also our inability to accept change. Right? In Africa, it is always difficult for us to accept something that is new. Right? If you've ever built or written a software before for an organization, especially, you will see a lot of people in that organization trying to fight you for bringing an innovation or bringing in change, right? So it's a very big challenge for us in Africa. So those things are actually challenges, but we can actually, there are solutions to them as well. We have identified the challenges. Our focus should be on the solution, right? Our focus should be on the solutions. So the solutions, first of all, is education. We need to start from educating ourselves, just like what this particular foundation is doing right now, educating each and every one of us on what these technologies are, how they can be used, how you yourself can, be a contributor to the development of this technology in the African ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you. Please still hold the mic. I was wondering if internet is not a challenge. Like, I cannot log into the blockchain without the internet.
Internet is a very big challenge.
Ah, okay.
But gradually, we're getting to somewhere where we have some form of internet stability if you have enough funds, right? We have people who are using Starlink have a bit stable internet, to an extent, but it's expensive.
We're using it though, still.
So, but Starlink, you can't compare Starlink with your telco.
Let it rain first.
So, of course, internet is a very big challenge.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very big one, and most of us here we know that already.
Okay.
But I don't think it's one of the biggest challenges.
Okay.
But it's one of the challenges.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. To our next panelist.
By the way, who uses Starlink here?
Let's hear it.
So affordability is equally a challenge.
All right. So that was on a lighter note anyway. So let's look at how, because I know that once you're talking about this technology, of course we have the government to come in and play their role. So how are we going to be sure that when this technology is adopted, that nobody's marginalized? We don't start having upper class systems, lower class systems. In fact, it doesn't even marginalize the ecosystem the more. How do we make sure that everything gets to everybody? Is it possible?
Okay, yeah, before I bring in the government, I would like to start by reflecting by ourselves, reflecting back to us, There is a concept I recently read around technology called the diffusion of innovation theory. Now, what this explains is all of us, there are ways whereby we react to technology, how we adopt technology, how we run with it. My fellow panelist, Josiah, said that Nigerians or Africans are very slow at adopting change, or they resist change a lot. So there are three different ways we react to adopting technology. First, we have early adopters like perhaps those of us sitting on this flank of the hall who have been able to appreciate the blockchain and AI very early and are running with it. We have more or less late adopters who will wait until maybe myself or Josiah built something very, very credible, leveraging this technology, or I've been able to traverse the length and breadth of Nigeria singing or chanting blockchain and AI, that they can be convinced to jump on. And of course, we have laggards who will never jump on blockchain and AI or whatever technology until they are totally convinced. Cryptocurrency, they will never jump on until they see made in China. So that is the issue. So the solution now lies in those of us who are early adopters. What are the efforts that we are doing to bring in a large pool of people to appreciate this technology? And that is why I would like to challenge not just myself, but those of us sitting here, and then some of the resource persons that have been able to come on stage earlier. And I know through social media and the likes, I've seen very, very tech-savvy people like that, my fair friend there, who are early adopters, who I can challenge to go further, to stretch themselves, to really get people, a lot of people, to appreciate this technology. Secondly, I would like to touch on the government. In as much as this technology are appreciable, are very good to harness, both for our personal benefit and leveraging them to build some of the solutions that God has given us in our minds and in our subconscious. Regulation is very, very critical. About 2 or 3 years ago, Nigeria took a very bold step in coming up with the blockchain policy. But there is more to be done beyond policy. Policy is just a framework. We need to move further to look at compliance issues. We need to move further to look at regulations across various sectors that will open room for both innovators and private or public-private partnerships to come in and build innovations that could actually be life-touching. And of course, you can't do away with education and awareness. We can't overemphasize that. For these technologies to be appreciated, for it to be properly be compliant, for it to be properly used, there needs to be some level of education, like symposium like this, seminars across the nation, across Africa, online, and every medium as much as we can get. So education is a very, very critical component. And then education is very critical in the point that I happened to travel to one of the African countries, and I met a leader who was willing, who was preparing to run for presidency, not even governor. And in the course of our interaction, I asked him what blockchain was, and he could, in fact, he was just hearing that word for probably the first time. So we have to interrogate our leadership. We have to interrogate our followership. We have to create safe spaces where people who can predict the future, who understand where the future is going, to really be our decision making and to play an advisory role in every given opportunity we have to constitute leadership, as much as maybe departmental leadership. You give people, make people presidents who are able to predict the future, they'll be able to position you better to appreciate other opportunities and emerging technologies as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think as a compliance officer, I was so impressed that you were able to talk about compliance and policies. And that's the fact. If the government and so if the government is able to have policies, all right, that have the consumers in mind, to protect the consumers, it will go a long way to avoid marginalization, all right? And at this point, I would like to leave the floor open for questions. Do you have questions? Please, you're asking the panelists, not me.
You are part of the panelists now.
So if you have any question, just signify by this. You could just stand up and then one person or two people, you could get a gift though, don't shy away. I give Sha. Yes, the lady on the blue top, the lady on the multicolored top, yes. Okay. And, okay. Okay, so yes, you can stand and ask your question. Please, you're asking them. So we'll address it. Your own question. Yes, she's just asking how AI.
So my question is this: what is the difference between blockchain, Web3,
Web3, Web1, and Web2? Okay, so you take that one, right? Okay, the last one.
My question is almost the same thing with us, but it goes like this: what is the difference between
Okay, so I think it's more like definition of terms: blockchain, smart contract, AI, Web1, Web2, Web3, and then benefits of blockchain technology to students. That's like a general question, okay? The final one before we start answering.
So my question goes thus: what technology?
Does
Cybersecurity, does it have rules in?
With blockchain technology? Okay, I'll answer that one. Okay, so okay, so Kelvin, you would answer how students can benefit from blockchain technology, all right, and let them know how they can participate in the AI, while Josiah will take the other two.
Okay, quickly, let me react to how you can benefit or monetize. You like that word, right? Yeah. So, like, how many of you are currently using any generative AI? Any generative AI? ChatGPT? Yes. Now, what that aids you is around if you are a content creator or if you are a writer, you know, you can create content very easily with your generative AI. Now, there's a lot of money making opportunities around content creation. In fact, if you go to Lagos now, some of the richest people are content creators. And there are different aspects of it. Some are writers, content writers. Now, some of this music you hear are being written by people. Some of the acts you see are being written by people. So now the benefit of AI is it positions you to become a very efficient, robust, and effective content creator. Like an example, I wrote a book for someone in 3 weeks and I was able to make 500K. 3 weeks. All I did was just to put in the right prompt. It's about prompting. How do you get the right prompting to get the right content? And I was able to generate a 250-page book for 3 weeks. 500K, no stress, stress-free. So you can all become writers with the aid of regenerative AI. And that's one area I want to challenge you as students. Now, the beauty of being a student in the era of emerging technologies, it opens vistas of opportunity, money-making opportunities for you to be self-reliant. Now, that is for AI. How do you harness blockchain? Now, blockchain for some persons is a buzzword, but for some of us, the reality, we are living it. Now, if you become an advocate, now what the foundation is doing here is just advocating. If you become an advocate and you are just using your social media handles to advocate for the adoption or people to get into the space, before 3 weeks, you'll be identified and getting a gig will be very easy for you because the new is an emerging technology. And there are a lot of specialty around blockchain that I feel as students you can comfortably run with. Now, one of those areas is around community building communities. You can easily become a community builder in the university and you can build for Josiah, for instance, have an exchange. You can begin to build a community right here on campus for their platform. And that will earn you not just money, it will earn you a seat on the table. And then earn you credibility for many opportunities to come. So those are some of the low-hanging opportunities around AI and blockchain. Thank you.
Right. So let me add something on that blockchain part. Of course, maybe some guys are waiting to hear cryptocurrency because it's built on top of blockchain, right? You can benefit from that as well, you know. So, I mean, some people who, like you mentioned, there are people who adopted, this technology on time and they took advantage of it. They started benefiting. Some people benefited from things like Notcoin, Bitcoin itself, from Ethereum at the early days, right? Some people benefiting from Notcoin now will tell the story some years that they benefited from Notcoin, but there will be another coin, all right? So cryptocurrency is one thing that is built on top of or on the blockchain, right? So you can benefit from that as well. I think she asked one question, if AI can be used offline, right? Yeah, so of course you can use your AI offline. If you use your phone, you have AI feature on your camera, on your device, you have AI feature already on your phone. So there's a model that, Android has released new version that has AI infused. So by default, your phone is running an AI model, offline, to be able to beautify your pictures, be able to do certain things, read content from text. Read text from images and all of that, right? So all of those are actually powered by AI, right? So let's go back to your question. Definition of terms. So Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. Okay. So let me put them as simple as this. Web 1 is that era of internet where we have to do with only static content. Static means if someone did not put the content or manually update the content offline and then put them back, you won't be able to see an updated version, right? It is completely static. As at then, people building even websites and all of that. If you see the websites that are built then, or all of those, they are very, very static. Very, very static. That's just the simplest way for me to put it, right? And then Web 2 is where we talk about the dynamic web, dynamic internet, where we talk about the proliferation of social media, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of these things. So that is where we have the dynamic internet, where you'll be able to, even you yourself, not only the people who understand how to actually write code can actually create their website, but people who don't even have an idea of coding at all can actually create website, right? They can actually create website, they can update content. They are participants, and also creators of the internet. So if you go to Facebook today, you are contributing to Facebook by uploading your picture, writing posts, right? You are creating content. That's the dynamic web. That's Web 2. For Web 3, essentially, is the internet that sort of this takes power, from all of these big companies, right, onto the hands of the people who are actually creating. Taking power from the big companies like Facebook and all of that, and giving you who is creating, taking it so that you take charge of that. And what I mean is you are taking charge of your own data. That is the difference between Web 2 and Web 3. In Web 2, these other companies they take care of your data. They give you a platform to use for free in exchange for your data. But in Web 3, you actually opt in and you are in charge of your data. So if any company needs your data, right, you aim from it directly. On Facebook, they give you surveys. You take those surveys. They don't pay you anything because they are giving you that platform to use for free, right? But in Web 3, you have an ability to be able to participate in surveys and earn. So this is Web 2. Web 3 is an era of, let's say, you actually use your data to be able to earn, just like what is happening on Telegram right now. You have tap, Abi. You are sharing your data, your Telegram data, with, for example, TapSwap, with, for example, maybe Notcoin, right? You are sharing your data. However, you are getting money back. Does that make any sense? So you are getting money back, and you actually decide to share, right, before you actually do that. So the era of Web 3, it is where all creators are actually in charge of their data, and they're actually earning from their data as well directly. What are that thing again? Blockchain, smart contract. So blockchain is just a database, right? Blockchain is just a database that is made available public, or it can be private as well, because we have different type of blockchains, right? But it's just a database. It's just like a ledger that keeps record of data. Essentially, that's what blockchain is, and they keep them correctly. Smart contract is what enables blockchain to be able to not allow anybody, first of all, to mutate data easily. Smart contracts allow blockchain to be able to execute certain instructions, right, by itself, without anybody, without any intermediary. So a smart contract is just like the normal contract you sign. But this contract is smart because you are not the one executing it. The normal one you sign, you are the one executing. You are the one signing it, right? You are the one executing it. But for smart contract, these instructions are already given, and they have been given the autonomy to self-execute, right, themselves. So that's essentially what they mean.
Thank you so much. If we leave him, we will not leave here today. So thank you so much. I think to answer the last question, cybersecurity and blockchain technology, they are two different things, right? In fact, cybersecurity is actually a profession on its own, all right, where you need to secure the internet infrastructure against cyber criminals, cyber attacks, okay? So part of cybersecurity will go into digital forensics. There are different arms when it comes to cybersecurity, and it's a course. It's a professional course that people go to school to study. And when they come out, they become ethical hackers, pen testers, vulnerability, people that carry vulnerability assessment on your platform just to fight the bad guys. So we call them the good bad guys. And then blockchain technology, we already know them. All right. So far, it's been an insightful session so far. Did you learn anything new today? All right, so I want to thank our good panelists for helping us to throw more lights on some of the issues around governance and how blockchain technology and AI can help us. Thank you so much.